Hey y'all, it's the Jed. No surprise, I'm with Kenny on a Sunday. No surprise, we just got through eating. I haven't really sprung it on you yet, but this is my new ride. It's the R1250GS that I demoed, and I liked it so much that I bought it and sold my bike. And so far so good. I've only put about 500 miles on it, but I'm really enjoying it. And we're just on our way home. At some point, I'll do a video on this phone mount that I bought and put in where the GPS ought to go. It's been great. It actually draws power, and you can charge your phone while it's in there. You can use Waze or whatever GPS you want on the phone. A lot of tech on this bike with this TFT display that I'm really enjoying, but I don't know it all yet. So I learn something every time I ride. So I'm trying yet another setup with my lav mic in the helmet to try to reduce some of the wind noise. So I've got it in the same place in my helmet, but I've got, in addition to the dead cat, I've got just the foam wind protector underneath the dead cat. So we'll see how that goes. I've also got music in my ears, so it's kind of weird to be talking. And that's me just running Waze on my phone instead of the navigator. So far so good with that. There's Kitty behind me, looking for Decker Canyon. And we never go this direction on it, so I'm not quite sure how quick it comes up, but this may be it right here. And it is. I'm running this thing with all the bags, which I never do, but I love the way these black bags look on this bike. And also, I'm just trying to get used to riding some twisties with the bags to try to get over the psychological impact of having them on there. I really don't think they affect lean angle. They do affect the weight a little, and I feel like I can feel them. I'm not even sure. And then I'm a little tentative because I've only got about 500 miles on this bike, and I had them take off the Anarchy 3s that were on it and put on Metzler Torrance Nexts. They're an older tire, but I hate Anarchy 3s. And why do I hate them, by the way, is because they moan. They make a lot of weird noises. I don't mind the way they handle, but I honestly don't know enough about these Metzlers to trust them fully yet. They haven't let me down, although they did squirrel out a little bit in some water at highway speed. Not bad, but enough to keep me cautious for a bit. And if these don't work out long term, I may try a bit of a adventure tire. Maybe just Anarchy Adventures, or maybe something slightly more off-road, because I would like to do some fire roads on this. Nothing hardcore, but I'd like to get it in the dirt a little bit, although this is such a pretty bike that I'm not sure I even will. Most of what we do is this. I should, if I were being totally honest with myself, I should probably just put a road tire on it. It's so funny, I've got Lou Reed playing in my ears while I'm talking to y'all. That's another cool thing about this bike is I can run Spotify on my phone and have full visibility and functionality to the songs on the TFT display. It was a little bit of a mess trying to figure out how to Bluetooth my phone and my headset into the TFT and kind of in what order. But the way I'm doing it right now is I have each of my phone and my headset Bluetoothed to the TFT, but not to each other. So the music is streaming from my phone to the TFT and from the TFT to my headset, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but I watched a couple of other people's videos and it seemed like that would work, and sure enough it does. Now, in order to make it work right, I have to get everything on while the bike is stationary. Otherwise it won't let me do it on the fly. Now I've got Santana in my ears. Interestingly, as much as I really love this 1250, I'm still not completely comfortable knowing what gear I ought to be in at what time. It's you know, it's a little different feeling than the 1200 and the 1200 gearbox. I'm not sure, frankly, exactly what the differences are in the gearboxes, but I'm still getting used to this. Meanwhile, I'm loving it. Be interesting to see what the lean angles are from this ride. I think without the bags on one ride I was at like 42 and 40 on my lean angles. The BMW connected app will give you all the data from each ride if you want it. And I know I am psychologically less inclined to lean it with these bags on, but this road forces it to a degree. Squirreled a little bit on some gravel there, but I don't blame the tires for that. Gorgeous day. I think it's going to get a little warm this afternoon, but it's nice to have our skies back after all that smoke. Kind of a trip going this direction on Decker Canyon. I can't remember the last time we did it. So I don't know how many of y'all are college football fans. I certainly am. Texas is my team, and what an amazing game yesterday between the Longhorns and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. If you didn't see it, Texas was behind with 3 minutes or so left by 15 points. They came back and tied it with a touchdown drive, an onside kick that they recovered, and another touchdown followed by a 2-point conversion. And then they won it in overtime by a touchdown. Heartbreaker for the Red Raiders in Lubbock. But man, what a game for Colt McCoy. For Sam Ehlinger. 6 TDs. I think he had 1 interception. But he just completely took control of that game with 3 minutes left and won it. After telling Tom Herman he was gonna. So that was a treat. Still having a hard time getting completely excited about sports. It is a nice diversion from politics and the pandemic, I will say. And I sure enjoyed watching that game. If you have a college team that you follow, leave a note below. And please consider subscribing if you're watching this video and you haven't already. I could really use the support if you're inclined. I like to grow my subscriber base, and so if you're enjoying these videos, I sure am, I hope you'll consider subscribing. So if you saw my demo of this bike, you might remember about halfway through it, I realized almost simultaneously, one, that this R1250 engine is truly special, and two, that I really enjoy the way the GS handles versus the Adventure. Part of that handling I took away by putting risers, handlebar risers on this, because I was kind of leaned forward with the stock setup. But even so, I just feel like this is a more nimble bike, and on paper the geometry is very similar. There are a couple of differences in steering head angle and in trail, and I think maybe even like a half a centimeter difference in wheelbase. Really tough for me to understand fully what those differences mean. But I think more than anything, the 40 or so pounds, a lot of which is gas, makes a big difference. And I guess part of which are these bags. So putting these bags back on certainly eliminates a big part of that. But I don't know, maybe it's psychological too, not having the big fat tank up front. But for whatever reason, I like the way this thing rides.